All right, well, welcome back to our YouTube audience. I want to let you guys know that we had a great snack, and I encourage you to get the snack cards, make your own, and then you can actually have this whole YouTube interactive tasting experience. But you're going to have to make your own snacks and buy your own supplies, because we're not going to mail them to you. But we are so thankful that Canyons Church provided those great snacks for us, and I encourage you, buy the snack cards, use the VBS snacks, and there's great opportunities for you to actually include that, and there's gospel presentations that you can actually make during the snack time, and they give you lots of tips using the snack cards. So you can purchase the snack cards using the catalog, and that'll prepare you and get you ready for a fantastic Vacation Bible School total experience. Because what's Vacation Bible School without the VBS snacks, right?
Not
Otherwise, all you're doing
fun.
is juice and the little butter cookies. That's it. No, there's got to be more to that. So you got to have the full VBS experience. You got to do the VBS snacks. So thank you, Canyons Church, for providing for that for us. It was wonderful, and it tasted great. And if I wasn't intermittent fasting, I'd actually be enjoying them myself. But I can't eat them until noon. So as soon as noon comes around, I'll be leaving you all to go eat the snacks. So, but thank you all. Now we're actually going to be starting our part 2 of our Vacation Bible School Clinic, and this part 2 goes over some of the breakouts. So we are going to be going over crafts, missions, and a brief overview of the music, and then I'm going to be coming back and kind of closing things out by showing you the behind the scenes of how I made some of the decorations that you see behind me and around me. So without further ado, here is Jen Hagan, and she is going to show you the Vacation Bible School crafts.
All right, welcome back. All right, so to start, this is the craft book. It gives you the instructions and materials for each and every craft. It has the crafts that you can purchase through Lifeway, and it also has some other crafts. So it gives you a lot of choices. It also talks about the Bible point and gives you, so you can do crafts that go along with the story that you're doing for the day, okay? So I will be done with that one. So I'm just gonna try to be really quick, so I'm not gonna give you the story background. We can talk about that later if you'd like, okay? So one of the crafts that I absolutely love is they get a little mini easel. I'm going to show you the ones from Lifeway first. They get an easel and a board, and you just put masking tape on it. Wherever it's white, we had masking tape. And then we drew the cross, put the white on, or put the masking tape on, and then painted it. And then you pull the masking tape off. I work with kids every day, and they love to do this. They will do 5 or 6 of these every day. So I know that the kids will absolutely love them, okay? We also have this crown. It's a magnet. The kids get a package of all different colors of jewels and a magnet, and then you take a pencil or a fine point stick, and you write Jesus is the King inside here. So it's hard to see unless you're close up, but it works, okay? We also have this box that the kids can use as an offering box for whatever mission you're doing, or they can use it for their offering to take to their church afterwards, however they want to use it. All these are stickers that they get to enjoy putting on however they want. The box just comes unfolded and flat like this, and they just pop it open just like that. So a very simple craft, okay? All right, and let's see. Oh, this is one of my favorites. It's like the old Light Bright. And the kids actually will get 3 or 4 different patterns that come with it, so they can choose which one they'd like to do, or they can trade them out, because each pack comes with 3 or 4 different designs. Okay? Let's see. I'm trying to think if there was any more specific ones that I'm missing. I don't think so. Okay. So some of the other ones that they have come up with that I thought were super fun. This is a preschool craft, musical instrument. If you put glitter on it, people might hate you, but I happen to love glitter, so yay! I'm just kidding. No. Paper bag puppets. The kids can be as creative as they want. You just get all kinds of colors and shapes of paper, and the kids can do whatever they want. Make it their own, okay? Thank you. I felt so uncreative when I was doing it, and I was doing it at school with my kids. So, okay, this one, you can get these for 99 cents at Hobby Lobby. It's white when you get it, okay? And you take watercolors, you pull them out of the little tray, and you put them in hot water and let them dissolve, and then you fold it up like a fan, and then put it in a shape, and then you can put rubber band around it. I'm sure that kids, especially the older ones, could do it however they wanted. Basically, you're folding it up, and then you're dipping it in the different colors, which is how you're going to end up with this. Now, if you want more vibrant coloring, I would recommend the liquid watercolor. But you do have to be careful with it because it can stain, and you will need to add water to it because it is very concentrated, but super awesome, and the kids love it. So, okay. The other idea, I just bought this so I wouldn't forget, is any kind of Play-Doh or clay. This one I just happened to find at the dollar store, and I thought it was a good choice because it has like 10 different colors in it and wiggly eyes. And then it gives you a couple of suggestions of things you can do. But if you just buy clay, and if you just make Play-Doh, then you can do this basically the same thing, okay? This was a really fun one, and it is very simple, okay? It just takes 2 pieces of fun foam. You just cut the top and 2 slits, and then weave it. It's easy. I've done this. I did this with some 5-year-olds at school, so it's great. Your 5-year-olds can do it. So kindergarten and up can do this without much help, okay? I bought cheap buttons from the dollar store just so that they could use for a tic-tac-toe game. All right. Okay. Oh, here's one more. I forgot about this one. This is the David's harp. It comes with the rubber bands. It comes with this little stick, and then this is white. They just can decorate it however they want. If you get the VBS stickers, did they have the fun foam this year?
Yes.
And they have the fun foam. They could put that on it as well. The one thing I want to tell you, if you're going to do this one, make sure that you open these first and kind of move them around a bit, because if you don't, when you put the rubber band in, it could break, and then you'll go through a lot of rubber bands. Now, that being said, I broke a rubber band, but I was able to tie it back together. Okay? With kids, that may or may not happen, but I just wanted you to know you still can do that. You just have to be a little bit more careful.
I'm going to interject with one on this one, too. This one was something that I discovered while we were at VBS Institute in Fort Worth. The rubber bands can get tight after a while, and it might break this piece. We had a couple of them actually break in half. Get a couple of popsicle sticks and stick them in the back and add some stabilizers. So just hot glue some popsicle sticks back there. If you end up changing the size of rubber bands so that it makes a different sound, like everyone, the tighter rubber bands will actually give enough pressure to actually break the harp. So if you add the popsicle sticks to the back, that solves that problem. So that was just one modification that the lady who created the craft discovered after she put this in her luggage, and then when she pulled it out of the luggage, it was 2 pieces, and it wasn't supposed to be.
Interesting.
So
that's a great idea.
If you want to support it, go ahead and add popsicle sticks to kind of add the stabilizing nature to it, because once you add that center hole is there, you have 2 weak spots.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. This one, I test everything out on my kindergartners. So this is something they absolutely loved. Starts out as a book. You open it up. It says Jesus fulfilled God's plan to save us, and then I love VBS, okay? And then if you close it this way, you can open it, and now you have a spot of a secret message, which, of course, all of my kids thought this was amazing. This was one of their favorite ones. So this was super easy. It's just cardstock, and 1 sheet per kid. Very simple. It gives you the dimensions it needs to be cut and everything. So there's that fun one. Let's see. This one is a preschool craft, but you could do it with any of them. I bought the wrong size styrofoam ball, so I used a tennis ball, covered it in foil, paper towel tube, covered it in black, added stars. You can add any stickers or paint or coloring. I just chose black because that's what I think of when I think of a microphone. So kids will love this, though. Yes, they will. All right. This is by far my absolute favorite, though. Okay? It's a Bible marker, page marker. This is just a piece of white duct tape, and we used a couple of gems that we had left over from another craft, and we wrote Jesus Saves with Sharpie. Okay? And then you just loop it around, put the rubber band on both sides, and then I just put 1 extra piece of duct tape right here on each end to hold it. Very simple to make, but the kids will love it, especially if you buy a variety of duct tape. I was just trying to do it simple because I was trying to figure it out. All right. Okay. These are rubber band bracelets. In the book, they recommend that you take 2 pencils and put a domino in between and wrap it with a rubber band to do this. But all of my kids do it with 2 fingers, whichever 2 they want to do. And you put the bands over your fingers, and then you can just pull them down and then add another one and another one, and then when you put the clip on. So they find, even though I have the tools that they can use, they find that they would rather do it with their finger 98% of the time. So you can do it the other way, but you can also teach them how to do it with their fingers. The rubber bands are stretchy enough, it doesn't hurt. Okay? Let's see. Oh, this was another favorite. It's kind of small. It's a little heart box, and if you close the heart, you can lift up the top, and then you open the heart up, and it comes down, and now you've got your gospel message. And again, my kids absolutely loved this one. And this one, it has the pattern in the craft book, so all you do is copy as many as you need. And if you're really smart, you'll try to put 2 on a page, because I know it'll fit. It'll save you some money. All right. Here's another favorite. This one, you would write words about God, like loving and kind and generous and thoughtful, and okay. And then, sorry, my fingers keep getting in the way when I do this. You just spin it, okay? You will have to have hot glue, because you will need to hot glue the base on the bottom and on the top so it doesn't move at all. And then because this is a skewer, we glued a gem on the top. And I just had a bunch in a bin, and the kids got to choose whatever they wanted. And I hot glued it on so we wouldn't have to worry about anybody like trying to stab each other, I work with a lot of boys. And I know you guys, some of you guys have probably seen the God's Eye. My kids love any craft with yarn. And so this is always a hit. Changing colors can be a bit of a trick, but you can still do it. You can do variegated yarn colors, so it would give you a lot of color without having to change yarn. So, all right. And this one's in the preschool book. It's one of the daily activities. Of course, you know what story this is. But I will be honest with you, the durable plate is worth its weight in gold on this craft, okay? Because you can use 1 plate per kid, or one plate for every 2 kids. And then I just found a piece of, I think it was just cheap cardboard kind of stuff to do this part. And then I just used green paper to make some plants. And then a brad fastener. Super, super easy, and this one will stand up by itself if you use a sturdy plate. Okay? All right. Another fun one for your preschoolers. They can make any shape, but here's the fish. You can use any kind of bead you want on this. And it's amazing how small the hole can be for these pipe cleaners. They can go pretty good. Okay, here's another one of the prepared crafts. And they could write anything on here. So if you were to give this to your 3rd and 4th graders, they're not going to want to write, "Look what I made." They could write, "Hey, my mess," or whatever. But this is just a fun one. It comes with everything you see here.
Prayer requests.
Yes, you could do prayer requests. That would be fantastic. Prayer requests, especially for your older kids. Okay, great idea, Rebecca. Thank you. Okay, this is another one for the older, like the VBX. It's an optical illusion. And this one gives you a pattern so that you can follow the pattern. I will say this. We had to adjust this because the way they did it had only 2 spaces, but we could not fit the word Jesus in only this space. We just couldn't do that. And so we had to fiddle with it, and this is the size we ended up with. We just put a black sheet of paper on the back. And you can choose whatever color you wanted. We chose the colored popsicle sticks. You can get a bunch. I think you get 100 for $1.25. So, all right. Okay, this is another preschool craft. This is a cereal box. I turned inside out and decorated. Added a string, and now they have a tote. They can carry their crafts home in this. You know, if they bring it back every day, there's lots of room for their name. Everything I bought for this, I got at the dollar store. So, trying to just keep it simple. All right. This is another one you could do for your 5th and 6th grade. You take a pin and you poke the holes in the pattern you want, and they actually give you a pattern in the back of the craft book for this. If they want to do a cross, if they end up doing something else, they'll have to create the pattern. And then you can do the string, they can do the string however they want to. This is just how I did it. But they could do it in a more simplified version than this. My kids at school, every single one of these would be completely different, even if it had the same picture. So you have, and this is embroidery thread that we use for this. And I suggest that you poke the holes with a bigger pin. And these you can get at the dollar store, 3 for $1.25. Okay. All right, here is another one of these. This is Marvelous Creator. And I think we needed to thin the glue a little bit because you can't really see the light through it when you turn it on. If I can't get it to move. Okay, there, but see, you can't really see the light, but if you see where it's scraped, you can see the light through there. So it'd have to be a little bit thinner paint. It's just a ping pong ball and a light and some paint. And this is acrylic paint. But you could use tempera paint, which would give it a thinner coating, and you could do the same thing. And just FYI, we used our finger to make the shape of the green for the different countries. It worked better than a paintbrush did. So, all right, let's see. Oh, another 5th and 6th grade craft. You can do one or the other or both. I got the paintbrushes at the dollar store, and then I just added a hair pony so that you would know the difference between the boy and the girl. But they're kind of fun. And Abby is in 5th grade, and she says she would love to make one of these. I wasn't thrilled about that. So I didn't think it was that fun, but I guess I'm not in 5th grade, so there's that. All right. Here I have a couple more I want to show you guys. This is another 5th and 6th grade craft. I just got a notebook from the dollar store, covered it with scrapbook paper, and wrote for a journal. You could write, like prayer journal. You could write, instead of prayer journal, you could write prayer request. They can write whatever they want on that. But it's just a little bit more, because some of these crafts are pretty simple. You could have some of these for just the kids who wanted to do this on a day when the craft was simple and they had extra time. Okay? And this last one will take the kids a little bit longer, but it'll be worth it. This is a cross in your pocket. Someone gave this to me as a gift, and I actually have a paper that has the poem that goes with it. But this is a cross in your pocket. I had my 5-year-olds that made them, but because I don't work in a Christian school, we made the cross into a sword for the boys, and the girls chose to put little notebooks. But again, this is it takes time, but it's a very simple craft. Once they get the hang of how to do it, then it's good. And you need to buy the metal needles that are, what are those called? They're not yarn needles. They're the metal ones, but they have a blunt tip so that they're not sharp. So as you put them through, if you buy the plastic ones, they'll break the plastic canvas. So you can't, we found out we had to just replace a bunch of it, so we just bought new needles to get that one done. All right, now, if you want to let the kids have some opportunity to be super, super creative, I've got a couple of things left for you, and then we can be done. Okay, this is a Wendy's cup. And all I did was just cut, 1.5 inch strips around it and weaved different colors of yarn. So, and because we're, talking about being creative, I wanted to try to do something more colorful. And my kids all love the rainbow, so that's why we do that. All right, and I did have one of my older students who is a 5th grader. She did these all on her own. She just created them right out of her head. This is a koala bear. So giving kids yarn, they love yarn crafts. This one, I think is supposed to be a bear. I don't remember. Okay, this one is probably my favorite. It's a little goldfish. But all I did is gave her felt, glue, and yarn, and wiggly eyes, and she did this. This one's a gecko or a lizard. okay? And she did all of these within like 20 minutes because they, you know, super fun and easy. They can be really creative. And there's another, I don't see it. Oh, here, yeah. This is another one. This one kind of surprised me. It was for 5th and 6th grade, just making a pom-pom. And they can make a different pattern to make it look more like the earth. But honestly, I didn't quite understand how they got it to look like that. So we chose this way. But it's just a bookmark, fun little bookmark. They'll probably want to make like 100 of these because all of my kids love to make pom-poms. So, all right. It looks like that is all I have to show you today. So I hope that you guys have learned something. I will leave this up. If you have any questions about anything, you're welcome to ask me after, and then we can talk about it. And I have one more, sorry. I always forget this one. This mobile. And it's got, you know, the plan of salvation on here with these little washers. And these are just straws and beads. Everything I found at the dollar store except the hanger. My husband had one. So, and you could use anything for that. You could use a stick. You don't have to use a hanger. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and that's all I got today. All right.
Quick stage change, and we'll do missions.
Okay. Oh,
Good job, Jennifer.
thank you, dear. You're awesome. Let's just put this one right here. Whoops, I'm gonna have to come down a little. Can you move my chair, that chair?
So you brought them all on the floor.
All right.
Hello, welcome to Missions. I'm Eleanor Blankenship. Those of you who are still here with us in person, thanks for holding on. I promise we're almost done talking to you. So who here has ever been on a mission trip? All right, where did you go? Just shout it out. Mexico. Nicaragua, Las Vegas, Venezuela. All right. Montana. All right. Now, when you went to these places, did you prepare a plan or did you just get on a plane and go to Nicaragua and hope for the best? We planned, hopefully. I was hoping that would be the answer, and it is. With mission trips, we take time. We prepare ourselves, we plan. And so with VBS, we have a chance to do a mission trip in our own community, right? This is a chance to share about missions with these kids and also teach them about other people doing missions. So it's important with it that we are preparing and planning like we would for our own mission trips when we go into VBS. Now, missions this year is in the missions workshop. I don't know if you caught my wardrobe change, but I'm ready for the missions workshop. So if you have any concrete and crane stuff stashed around, great chance to use it in the missions room. I got my Lowe's apron on. Useful. I have Jolly Ranchers in this pocket, so I can bribe children. And I have lesson materials in this pocket, so I'm ready to go. Other things you can grab, tools from around your church, are duct tape. Great decoration. Things like pegboards and other stuff makes it great. Just a note about this. This is a restaurant stand-up sign that I got at a church yard sale for $1. And it has a tablecloth on top of it so that I can make it neutral and plain and say whatever it is. So sometimes if you don't have a wall, you can bring your own like I did. Now, to fill our wall here, we have our beautiful acronym SPARK for Spark Studios. And every table has a matching paint splatter under one chair. So if you are near an empty table, you might have to help them. So we are looking for, let me see if I can cheat this out at all. All right. We are looking for our matching ones. So if you find a paint splat, hold on to it. I'm going to call them up. They're under chairs. I didn't see any on the floor this morning, so. All right, I'm seeing them start to appear. Has anyone found the orange one yet? All right, our orange one, I'm very into color coding. Our orange one is first because it all is going to match. Do you want to come hang our orange one up? Yeah. I'm going to put my hand behind it so it doesn't push back on you. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we're going to go through the acronym as we get to yours, and I will go on and warn you if you have R, R is really long, so expect some time before K. So S is for share. When you're doing missions, you should also be sharing your Bible story. So you need to make sure you know the Bible story, know what they learned in their other classes, and just be able to share that. There was a great quote from the person who did the Lifeway training that we teach from the overflow of what God is doing in our own lives. And so as you're going into VBS, no matter what session you're teaching, know the Bible study and be spending time on it, reflecting, doing those leader devotions so that you feel confident that God can use you and share from the overflow of your own learning. All right, next up we have P. It's purple. All right, will you please come? I was like, I'll back away. If you want to hang our P up here, I'm going to hold this. The wall is a little wobbly when you bring your own wall. But P is for pray. We want to be praying already for VBS. We want to be praying for ourselves, for the other leaders, for the kids, for the communities, for our missionaries that we're going to emphasize, whether you use the Lifeway missionaries or not. You want to be praying over VBS. All right, A. Well, at some point we have to cheat down. I believe in you. Oh, you even got it all the way up there. All right, A is for art. And now, this is a really cheesy segue, but building relationships is a work of art. And so as I talked about in my last one, asking open-ended questions, really getting to know the kids in your classes is important. It's important to relax, have fun, be present while you are doing your rotations so that those kids get to know you a little bit more. And of course, follow up on those. I am also a product of VBS that my mother had never gone to church and my dad had left church, and my brother's daycare took him to a VBS. And the pastor from that church followed up, did an old school show up at the front door, follow up, which is how my mom went to church and became a Christian. And so VBS affects so much more than just the kids there. So build those relationships with the families, get to know everyone. All right, and next we have R. All right, R is for retell. I'll give a spoiler while it comes up here. All right, thank you. All right, retell. So kids come into missions immediately. You want to start talking to them. You want to be greeting them. You want to be retelling the story, discussing the story, telling and telling and telling. In missions, of course, you also get to retell other people's stories. And so Lifeway has chosen 2 missionaries every year. They choose one from the International Mission Board, the IMB, and one from the North American Mission Board, the NAMB or NAM. So for IMB, we are in Guatemala this year with the White family. So ways to encourage that, I found a little Guatemala flag at the party store. You can find food from Guatemala, yes. All right, so Guatemala is actually a country that's fairly close to the US, like culturally, and like people go back and forth a lot. So you can probably find someone who has been to Guatemala or knows someone from Guatemala. There's even a Guatemalan grocery store in Salt Lake City. To talk about Guatemala and to emphasize that missionaries use talents God made to share Jesus. And with that, there's some other mission opportunities. Then our North American missionary is the Wilton family in Pittsburgh, so Pennsylvania. And so every day there is a video for each of those. I would encourage you to use that video. Don't cut out missions. Find a place to fit the video. If you don't have the equipment, there's a little rundown you can do that tells the story. And in the video, we also have some great hands-on stuff. I'm going to go over here for it. We have what the paper I passed out is the workshop challenge. And so with that, this goes with the Wilton family video that they can do a word search while they watch the video. If we've learned anything with these kids coming out of the pandemic is that they're very distractible, and so the more you can give them that's tangible while they watch a video, the more likely they are to participate. And then we have our tower, which is very wobbly. Those paper blocks are out of the missions handout kit. And that goes with the Guatemala video. So if we were to watch the day 1 video for Guatemala, we would hear the word offerings, and we'd also hear the word volcanoes. I haven't watched the video yet. I don't know what those 2 things have to do with each other. But when we would hear the word, I then know that I can take my paper and add it to my tower. So that while I'm listening to the video, I get to make a paper tower out of the words that I heard in the video. So a great way to connect visual learning with tangible learning. With this retelling, there are lots of mission project ideas. So before I go into the one Lifeway has suggested, we have one that is local. I'm going to mess up their names because it's not on the front. Janice and Tad Walton. All right, have sent this out. They are familiar to the Utah-Idaho families, and they have right here, great ad. Are you looking for a Vacation Bible School mission project? So if you are looking for one, they have the chance. They are in Haiti serving, and you have the ability to partner with them and collect money to get some food. I was shocked to read here, food prices in Haiti have doubled since October 2021. I read that statement and was like, whoa, that's a lot. That's intense. We think our inflation is bad, and sometimes we forget other places it's even higher. So yeah, if you would like more info of that, we have that on the table so you can learn more about that. And then it would be very easy for you to just be like, you know what, we want to emphasize Haiti, so let's customize our stuff towards Haiti. Let's switch out our Guatemala flag to a Haiti flag, right? There's ways to add that in and incorporate it. The other mission project they recommend is called a Spark Bag. And so for a Spark Bag, kids would take a bag, decorate it, make it look all nice, and then you're going to collect art supplies to fill it up. So I just have some art supplies here, some examples. These are all Dollar Tree. And then it is asking you to find a local ministry or other public service group to donate them to. If you are in either Utah or Idaho, 2 of those are easy to find for you because they recommended church plants and they recommended after-school programs. And I know for a fact that both Utah and Idaho have a strong network of both of those things happening. And so there's ways to find those around you and find a place to donate those to. Or you might know someone in your church who works with an organization. With that, I would encourage you, just because I've worked in after school a long time, and it's really easy that everyone wants to buy the 36-pack Play School crayons from Dollar Tree. Encourage families to give the good stuff, right? We want to give them not just a junky present. We want to donate useful materials. So just something to keep in mind that these are the same price, but I think your Crayola ones will be more effective and last longer if you're doing a missions gift for someone. All right, and then last but not least, we have K. Thank you for your patience. I know the person last time thought I forgot them, which is fair because the R is really long. Just have you stick that up there. All right, there we go. K for kindness. As we have talked about all day, everything at VBS comes down to the gospel. And so kindness, in his kindness, God sent Jesus the Redeemer. And whenever possible, share that. Be ready to share your testimony. Be ready to share that. That is why I left the gospel presentation symbols up here. That goes to every room we go to. That can be a discussion point at any moment. And you want to be ready to have those conversations whenever it comes up. So some final logistics for missions. Please remember, if you are doing a rotation, that the preschool will be coming to you, that preschool has its own missions packet. So make sure you have the right packet for the right age group. And then also, just to encourage you, missions is too important to leave out. If you are doing the Backyard Kids Clubs, missions is not a piece of that curriculum, but with the other standard curriculums, missions is one of the rotations. You don't want to just cut it. Find a place for it, whether it goes in a closing ceremony, whether it, I grew up at a church that did M&M time. It was music and missions, so that we doubled up for one of those rotations. But find a place for missions. You definitely want to help kids learn about it and help them start to see how people use their talents to tell people about God. So that is missions.
Next, we're going to have a brief introduction to music and worship, and she's going to explain the difference between the two. So Rebecca's going to come up, and the meeting needs to be set up. Leave your stuff on too. Okay, because we're not going to change the stage. Yep, I just need this. We'll still need to steal the table because I need to get my table before I can teach you.
I need something movement. I'm still at and rest.
That's okay.
This happens to me on Sunday morning.
I don't know why. I don't know why they do it.
So you're not on your computer.
I just don't understand.
Do you want my walls on?
Oh, it's okay. I just don't understand why they think I'm responsible enough for microphone.
That's the stuff one you didn't tell me.
This camera and the people that are in the room.
Alrighty. Worship rally is definitely one of my personal favorites. I have been, I don't know,
Sure, screen.
it's not been.
Press it once.
Oh, there's green. There we go. All right, worship rally is one of my absolute favorite times. I have been able to touch so many students and their lives there, and it has just been such a blessing to be able to do worship. So it's very near and dear to my heart. The worship rally specifically, for those of you who don't know, that is the very beginning of the morning most of the time. If you do a morning VBS, it's like everybody gets together and they do a big thing. It's so much fun. You've got everybody comes together to do the music for the day and the daily videos and all the pledges and everything. So if you do end up doing a big worship rally, one of my recommendations would be the worship rally pack. And they're very similar in color to the actual music packs, so make sure you know which one is which. The worship rally guide and the worship rally DVD set are very important, and the CD set. They're all very important, so that's why I recommend the whole set. The DVD set has specifically the daily videos, so if you choose to do those, that's really important because that's the only place you can find them. For the worship rally set, this has all of the music, and it has logos for you to put up, like Jason has on the computers here, pledges, all different kinds of things that you need to have for the worship rally specifically. One of my favorite pieces that they've started adding they add one in the pack so you can see it, are these booklets. And throughout it, it has just words, but it's a really nice take home for the students so that they can see, these are the words that I'm singing, and this is why they're important. And on the back, it has the ABCs, which is our day 3 song. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's one of my personal favorites, so it's a good reference to have that on there. In your worship rally guide, you can get things like, let me find it, our order of worship. That one is just a really simple one. You can change it up as much as you want, but it's really nice to have just to kind of outline there. And then it has each day. And one of my favorite things about each days is it has a skit. So you can perform the skits, you can have the students perform the skits, you can have the youth students come up and perform the skits. They probably would love that. So that is such a great opportunity to have a skit for the day. It also has a description of like the pledges and things. I just saw it. Let me see if I can find it. I don't see it right now. I'll have to find it later. But it also has the actual music. So if you choose to do a live band, this is the best way to do that. Thinking about that, also we have the actual music. If you do choose to have a live team, I recommend everyone gets one of these. It has words, music, and it comes with a CD. The CD has choreography videos, lyric videos, instructional videos, so it's super important that those students have those, or leaders, or whoever's doing them. It's got, sorry, I remember. It has all the words to each of the songs on there. And so even if you get one of these, this is one of my favorite things to have, someone who does music, is the songs and the actual song and the lyrics for the song, so I can learn them so that I can teach them to the students in the future. In the rally guide, it does have a few games which I absolutely loved. I'm not going to do this one, but it's absolutely fantastic to save, what's it called? To like kind of fill time if needed. It is to give the students a challenge, and you can put them in really big groups to do this one, but you have to cut a piece of paper to where you can walk through it and totally step through your one single piece of paper. That's a super fun challenge for the kids to do. It'll keep them busy for a little while, and they can have a ton of fun with it. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than willing to answer them. I love this worship rally, so I would be grateful to talk to you guys about it. So any questions right now? Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, so we're going to conclude our training today with the decorations. And so I'm going to actually have my other table brought in. But after the table gets brought in, I need you to keep moving the camera around whenever I'm teaching. So I need 2 people to come get my big table and bring it in. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to be going over the decorations, and so as soon as my table gets in here, we'll get started. But I'm going to be moving around a lot, so I'm focusing my attention on the other secondary camera. So when we get started and I get my stuff in here, yeah, Jen's going to have to back up, and then we'll turn around. Y'all ran out of 6-foot tables, so I had to use the 8-foot. So. All right. All right, so 5, 4. All right, so welcome to the decorations overview. We are almost finished for the day of our Vacation Bible School workshop. So I appreciate those of you who have endured beyond the 12 o'clock original promise time. But the good news is you got some bonus material that was not available prior. So we were able to add a couple of new teachers, a couple of new leaders that were not a part of our previous training. So you were exposed to more stuff. But the end result is I've got to talk even faster than I normally do. So we're going to cover the decorations. And so what I want to kind of do is show you a little bit of behind the scenes as to how we made the decorations and the things that you see. So my clicker is right over here. I need to grab that. I want to actually walk through some of the background as to why I focus on decorations and why it's such a big deal. And so this is part of a workshop that I did for Lifeway called Discount Decorating. So I'm going to go over a couple of key points real quickly. So I'll make sure that we can see the points on the screen. I'm going to show them to you and walk through them very, very quickly. First off, I do believe that there is a biblical mandate for saving money and you being a good steward of the resources God provides. In fact, from Holman Christian Standard or Holman Bible Dictionary from the 1991 edition, it defines stewardship as utilizing and managing all the resources God provides for the glory of God and the betterment of his creation. You don't have to be an environmentalist in order to take care of creation. God gave us that mandate. In fact, he gives us several scriptures that relate to that, specifically the instructions that he gave to Adam. And then in the book of Mark, it talks about how Jesus talked about not putting our treasures here on earth, but treasures, storing up them in heaven, and where moth and rust do not destroy and thieves do not break in and steal. In Acts 4:32, it talked about how the community of the church, how the body of Christ as the church is to cooperate together and to help one another in order to meet the financial needs of one another. And so that's when they established deacons. That's when they started caring for widows and orphans and meeting in homes and caring for one another. And so all of that's talked about in the beginnings of the New Testament church. Also in Acts chapter 5, verse 1, it continues on with that. And then in Philippians 4:13 and 14, Paul actually spoke about the importance of good stewardship, maintaining and caring for the resources that we have to bring glory to him. Now, when we think about discount decorating, when we think about this idea of saving money, you want to have a realistic budget and you want to stick to it. That's very important, knowing how much you have to spend. So if you're responsible for decorations, but you're not responsible for the budget, make sure you're talking to that person. Whoever's responsible for decorations is not just spending money willy-nilly, but they're actually thinking about it and processing how much these items actually cost. And so you have that budget and you stick with it. And you also have a strategy in mind before you shop. Let me ask a question. How many of you are wanderers and how many of you are listers? Are you a wanderer when you go to the store, or are you a lister when you go to the store? Maybe a little bit of both, a little bit of wandering, a little bit of listing. It depends on how much pocket cash I've got. It depends on how much wandering I'm actually doing. It's at the end of the month and my allowance is kind of low. My wife and I do give each other allowances, and my allowance is low. I have to stick to the list because we only have so much left in our grocery line item. We only have so much left in our gas line item, so I have to stick to the list. And so in that respect, if you are not a lister and you are more of a wanderer, just going through the store and picking out items and grabbing them, whatever, make sure that you get together with a lister, because they're the ones who are going to save the most money. They're the ones who are going to be frugal. So what I recommend is when you're shopping, actually use a cell phone. And if you see an on-sale item that's not in your budget, take a picture of it. And then go and call your VBS director, call the person who's responsible for the budget, and say, I found this item, it's on sale, it's not in our budget, but I was wondering, can we potentially consider getting it? And then that picture is a reminder that the next time that you go back to that store with your list in hand, that item with the price tag is listed and you can go purchase that item. Now it could be it's a short-term sale, it may not be available when you need it, but recognize that in the long run, you'll be saving money by listing and not just buying things at random. And also your spouses will appreciate not having all this extra stuff lying around the house that never gets used. That's a personal testimony in there as well. So anyway, make sure that you have a strategy in mind. Start early. That's another key part there. Start early. Convenience is costly. If any of you who've ever had to buy something at the last minute knows that you pay premium prices. But by starting early, you can take your time and actually pick up items when they're on sale or when they're available at a discount. So starting early is very, very key. Utilizing the creativity of your congregation. It could be there's some people in the congregation that already have that item and they're happy to give it to you and loan it to you so you don't have to buy it. Also, making a list of all the things that you're needing for VBS, let your congregation donate those items. And so as they're accumulating their toilet paper rolls, their paper towel tubes, some of the things that you saw in the craft supplies that you might need, make a list and put it in the bulletin of all the items that you're collecting so that those items, people in your congregation can assist and be a part of contributing. And then use what you already have. Some of you might have some props from previous year's VBS. Some of these items that you see decorating my props are previous props items. For example, when we get to music, you're going to see an umbrella. That's the same umbrella I used as the fountain for Colossal Coastal World at the entrance into to the Vacation Bible School room for Colossal Coastal World a few years ago. So use previous items. PVC that I've used for my backdrop, I've used it from previous events before. So use what you already have. Some things you don't skimp on, having good quality tools. If you're going to use a knife, make sure it's a sharp knife. Don't just get cheap tools from the dollar store, but you're actually getting high quality tools. If you're having to cut PVC, go ahead and invest in a pipe cutter. I like these pipe cutters because they're wonderful, they're sharp, and they even give you extra blades in the handle that you can use this to cut your PVC in nice sharp little points. And that way you're not sitting there with a hacksaw or a chop saw and having to, but this is really cool. You just wrap it around it. They're not super sharp and they're not dangerous. Some of your kids can help you with that project, but I like a good pipe cutter. Also good quality tape. I always carry around with me my Marvelous tape. Oop, I'm messing up my microphone. But my Marvelous tape is always on my lanyard, so I always have it available. All the posters that you see, every poster is hung with just 2 pieces of tape in the top. And all of them are staying right where they are. So the posters you see there are all just 2 pieces of tape. Those posters are just 2 pieces of tape. Those are all just 2 pieces of tape. The ones up here, I actually did use packing tape because sometimes you use different tape for different purposes. Never put packing tape on a tablecloth you want to reuse because it's permanently there. If you're going to use something on tablecloths, this is somebody, if you see holes on my wall, that was somebody who used the wrong tape on the wall, and when I peeled the tape off, it took the tablecloth with it. So there are certain items that actually will go on tablecloth, and that is industrial gaffing tape. So I highly recommend gaffing tape if you're having to stick something to tablecloth and then having to unstick it later. Because gaffing tape will actually stick to tablecloth but not ruin it. You can actually peel the tape off. Some of my things there that are on the piano, they're not going to leave any residue and not going to destroy the piano because I used gaffing tape. The tape will stick on but then peel off and not leave any residue or any damage. So gaffing tape is a friend. You can get some of it from your sound guy. He might actually already have a source for it because your church sound committee already uses it to tie down the wires that are in the church. Dollar Tree items. When I made this video in 2012, November of 2021, when I first started planning for this, Dollar Tree was still $1. Now it's $1.25. So that has changed a little bit. But some of those items are actually not worth the $1. In fact, that's what I'm actually going to give the commercial right now for the tablecloths. Some of these tablecloths up here are Dollar Tree tablecloths. Other tablecloths, for example, the one you'll see, and so if you get a chance, actually go feel the tablecloth that's over behind the music station, and the ones that we have over here at the Dollar are all Dollar Tree ones. These are far more flimsy. Actually, that one's one of the Zurchers. So Zurchers in Party City actually sell higher quality tablecloths than Dollar Tree. But guess what the price is for the Zurchers one? $1. Same price, higher quality. So go to Zurchers, use a coupon, buy it on sale. Zurchers, Party City, all of them are the same company. They're all going to sell it at much better quality product for the same price. Walmart does sell tablecloths as well. The tablecloths you have in front of you, you can pick up and feel it. That's the quality of a Walmart tablecloth. That is still $1. It's cheaper than Dollar Tree. So Dollar Tree's $1.25, Walmart's $1. You can get both the round or the rectangle from Walmart for $1. These are the Walmart ones, and then the Dollar Tree ones look just a little bit different. But the package is almost identical. No, actually, this is the Dollar Tree one, and this is the Walmart one. Not a whole lot of difference. One's labeled Celebrate, and this one's labeled Party. So that's the Dollar Tree one, that's the Walmart one. Same quality, one's $1.25, the other's $1. But Party City and Zurchers are also $1, but they're higher quality. That's just one thing to remember. Now, kind of moving on, Decorating Made Easy book. I highly recommend the Decorating Made Easy book. Order it, look through it. There's great tips and resources on how to use the materials and how to cut foam board, all the right tools that you need along the way. So I highly recommend getting the Decorating Made Easy. They show you how to make the big fancy props. They don't show you how to make my cheap ones, but they will I'm showing you now how we do that. There's a DVD on there too that has all the clip art that I use for all my musical instruments that you see over there. The clip art is available on the disc that is inside the Decorating Made Easy. All right, let's look at Worship Rally. So what you see behind me is our Worship Rally setup. This is PVC, all attached to one another, and then using connectors, and then I have tablecloths draped over the top and the bottom, both taped at the top and taped at the bottom. I did not cut any of those tablecloths. They're all full length. Even the ones that are shorter are all still full length, so I can reuse them for another section. So if I want to modify this, all I have to do is get a different connector and make it either wider or shorter, or maybe not use the two wings and just use the center, however you want. But this was the backdrop that I created. What I also liked about it is I could add additional connectors along the way. A T, maybe an elbow, maybe like there's a 30-degree elbow up there. There's two 30-degree elbows that kind of gave it that dimensional effect. And then I have a T that gives me the wings off to the side. PVC is very cheap. If you contact any of the lawn and garden folks who are ripping up all the DIY projects that didn't go as planned, and they're installing the professional ones, those professionals rip out all of your DIY stuff that has leaks and is damaged and all messed up, and they throw it away. Maybe you can contact them and say, I want all of your leftover PVC. It might be a little dirty, it might be a little dingy, it might be yellowed because of being in the ground, but you can use that PVC for free from landscape architects who are already having to pull up the stuff that's already in the ground because they're having to modify it. And so you can use those sections, and you don't have to use the full length, because every one of my pieces, no piece is larger than 36 inches, because that's the size of my duffel bag. And I want to be able to put all of my pieces in one duffel bag. I don't want to have to carry or have to have a truck in order to move my stuff. So I use connectors to make a 36-inch piece, 3 sections, gives me my 9-foot ceiling. So all of that is available for free, or you can go to Habitat for Humanity Restore and you can get it from them at a cheap discount. I went ahead and bought this PVC so that you can see what is available for what price. All the PVC that you see here, in addition to some other PVC for another prop that I didn't set up, all of that was $20, including the connectors at Habitat for Humanity Restore right there on 13th South. So I highly recommend using the resources that are available and get the cheap stuff. Maybe you can find Home Depot or Lowe's might have some broken pieces that you've been able to get from them. All right, this is Worship Rally setup. I use crayons to hold my posters, and I just sort of prop them up there. These lights, I have instructions for how to make the lights on the Lifeway VBS Facebook group, so you can watch me explain how they're made. But basically, it's a paper plate. But I actually got these little to-go boxes, and you can make that one out of a to-go box. That's what I basically did there, is a to-go box and just put a little circle inside there. I use my handy Fiskars circle cutter. I love this thing, I highly recommend this. You can go all the way down from a 2-inch circle all the way up to a 20-inch circle with this little thing. And basically you just press it down, you press in the middle, and then you cut around. And then you can make your circles. It's a perfect circle, and it really does a great job. I use it in conjunction with my self-healing cutting board. And I love these things because I've had this one for 15 years. It's the same one, I keep reusing it. It does get bent up sometimes because it gets stuffed in my duffel bag, but it just straightens back out again, and if it self-heals, as you cut it, it will then heal itself. Or every now and then I have to tape a side of the razor blade and scrape it to get rid of the burrs, but I just keep reusing it over and over, and it's a great tool. And highly recommend the self-healing boards. This one's made by Alvin. They also Matco, and I think there's 2 other brands that sell the self-healing boards. But great tool. Fiskars actually, I think, also does one of those as well. And then as far as my lights are concerned, the can part of it is just a solo cup available at Zurcher's. I think it was $4 for an entire 36 cups. So you can make a lot of lights out of that. Now, as far as other things that you can purchase if you don't want to go with the full backdrop, this is $4 at Walmart. $4 at Walmart, and it comes with an entire drape, and you can actually make an entire backdrop just by buying it one selection and paying it between 2 trees if you're doing a backyard kids club. And it's a great tool. It's only $4. It gives you a pop of color, and then you can add paint brushes on the top of it, and it looks like paint streaks coming down. So I think that'd be kind of fun. You could just buy this, hang it up, and then you're done. You got your backdrop already created. All right, so any other questions about Worship Rally? Tool is wonderful because it adds sort of a pop of color and movement. If the air condition was on, you'd be seeing it waving. And so it's a nice thing. We added these lights. These are can lights, and so it added some really cool color effect. So if I turn it on, you can see it adds light to the various posters and makes emphasis on it and makes it look like it's alive. And so it's constantly changing. Those were like $10 a piece at Performance Audio over in South Salt Lake. So you can buy these can lights, or you can get them on KSL. I've seen them there all the time. They're basically DJ lights, and they're up lights or DJ lights. I've seen them called different things. But any questions about Worship Rally? All right, let's move on over here to music, or Bible study. Sorry, Bible study studio. Sorry. Bible study studio, I'm using the actual backdrop that Lifeway provides, but then I added it and made it three-dimensional and come out. So I have a Harbor Freight drop cloth on the ground with paint splatter. All I did was take some tempera paint that was on clearance at Michael's and dropped it down on top of it, or acrylic paint, and then dropped it on top of it and folded it while the paint was still wet. I folded it into a little square and stomped on it to spread the paint out all over it. And so this was basically, it took me all of 15 seconds to make the entire drop cloth paint splattered. And then I would just let it sit out overnight to dry. And then the next day, I have a perfect drop cloth that I can use in my Bible study room. Brings the Bible study mural out. If you want to paint this yourself, that's great. If you have a window like this, I'm jealous. But this is beautiful. It's a great prop. And it just gives inspiration with a lot of brightness and a lot of light. Some of you might be teaching Vacation Bible School in a room with no windows. This is a way to add the visual effect of light even without having light. And so having a room like this, that would be inspiring for the master artist to be painting. Now, if you see my easel over here, this is not a real easel. It's 36-inch PVC pipe with connectors, and I added paracord on the top of it to make it where I can create my own little easel. This square or right-angled cardboard is nothing more than the edge piece for a washing machine. When you buy a washing machine, they have the edge pieces that support it and protect it from being damaged in shipping. That's what that piece is. This whole thing didn't cost me anything because the PVC was free. And then in order to paint it, I don't like paint, so I just use gaffing tape to make it black. And that way it fit in with my color scheme. So that is that. My crayons were really, really cool because they all nest into one another. So when I'm storing them, they all, like the green goes inside the blue, the purple goes inside the green, and the yellow goes inside the purple. And they all nest inside one another, and the top of the crayon is nothing more than a piece of tablecloth. And so I have a piece of tablecloth there, and then I use them to stick them through the legs of the easel to kind of give some stability and add another pop of color. Now, if you're wondering how I made the crayon marks, this is basically just a wavy line. It's a 2-inch piece of black scrapbook paper, and then I cut out a wavy line down the center and pulled the two pieces apart, and that created that little wavy effect. And then the center part is using the letters to spell the word spark. This was for free on Facebook Marketplace. So just keep an eye out for stuff like that. This is something I got for free on Facebook Marketplace. It's a punch letter kit. So I can actually punch out all the letters. When I'm done with all of my trainings at the end of May, I'm going to be putting this back on Facebook Marketplace for somebody to get for free if they want it. So there you go. Now moving over here to music, set the sound stage. This one was kind of fun to build. This was my light that I used, and I now have just a light that kind of looks almost like what you'd see backstage to kind of add a photo or behind the scenes of a camera. So that's just a standard light that I got from Habitat Restore, and then my umbrella that I used as the fountain for Colossal Coaster World. Then I had my various foam board. This was clip art that I cut out and then stuck it to foam board to give me my musical instruments. And then this vanity is really cool. It's a turkey platter from Dollar Tree. So you pay $1.25 for the turkey platter, and then you add the Christmas lights. I'm missing one of my globes, but you just add the Christmas lights. The battery-powered ones from Michael's after Christmas sale were 90% off. So I only paid total, when I only paid $1, because that was when I bought it before, the prices went up. I paid $1 and then 87 cents for the light, so $1.87, and I have my own vanity. And this is really cool. It doesn't really work as a perfect mirror, but it gives you the effect and shows you what the mirror. And then I just added these little clip art pieces that are in the visual pack that you can sit in front of the mirror. I would also probably add a hat rack or a coat rack next to it and maybe throw a feather boa on there, maybe a lab coat, maybe funny glasses and all these other things and other hats that people can sort of just look what you can see in the backstage in a performance area. My record is nothing more than a garbage bag. It's a trash bag, a black trash bag on the ground, and then a piece of tablecloth that I added the half moon shape. This is half of a record to give me the stage look, to look like a record. This is an old broken microphone, but you can actually make your own microphone with a shower head. This is a shower head and a drain pipe. And I made my own microphone out of it. And this is just a piece of cord from another microphone. And the nozzle here is a nipple from a swamp cooler. So you have the swamp cooler, drain pipe, and shower head, total cost $0. Did not cost me anything but the labor to try to figure out how to make it. So that's my own Mr. Microphone, and I think it looks kind of cool. I think I want to try to figure out how to finish the dome. I guess I can take one off of another microphone and put it on, but I'll figure that out before we actually do our VBS. This is really fun. This is a piece of piano. I could have done the whole 88 keys, but this is actually vertical blinds. Vertical blinds that are just attached together, and paint sticks. These are black paint sticks that you can get like you do the stir sticks for painting, and then it's covered with electrical tape. So I covered the paint stick with electrical tape, and then attached them together, separated them a little bit so you can see the black lines between the keys. Just like if you open up a regular piano, you can see the lines between the keys. And so that's what I basically did. And I could have done all 88, but I just made one octave. So there you go. So that is musical soundstage. I love the art that they used. The Pablo Picasso inspired piece over here would be great for the music area. Also this Hosanna one, blessed is, Hosanna to the Son of David, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Very relevant to the music side of things. And then as far as the other backdrops, it's just, yeah, that's basically it. So that's music. Any questions about music, worship, or Bible study? All right, did I not go over something or that you want me to go over? Okay, well, that's it. We are all done. That is our decorations. Without any questions, here is my contact information. It's also on my card. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. And I appreciate you all so much for coming and spending a little bit of extra time as we have gone over our Vacation Bible School workshop. So let me close us in prayer and we'll be all done. God, we thank you for the opportunity to open up and discover about how Vacation Bible School could be best used by our churches. God, we thank you for those who are able to join us online, and we ask that you will allow us to return home safely and that we have an incredible and exciting time at Vacation Bible School as we get excited to help teach the kids to be creative and to recognize that they are designed by you for a specific purpose and help them discover what that purpose is. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Have a great day. Uh-huh. That'll be perfect for that. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that. I need to paint it silver, too. Yeah. Or use my silver tape that I have. Yep. Okay, that's in the stream.